Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2017 film Alien Covenant, and it's directed by Ridley Scott and stars Michael Fassbender, Catherine Waterston and Billy Crudup. When the crew of the Covenant, bound for a planet far away, are woken up into their journey, they discover another planet to explore and see if they can call this their new home. However, unbeknownst to them, danger and terror awaits. Man, I gotta be honest, I was really looking forward to rewatching this movie. I've only ever seen it once at the cinema, and that was the same with Prometheus. But when I rewatched Prometheus, I really enjoyed that film and seeing it in a totally different light. So I was hoping that was going to be the case for Alien Covenant. Now I understand the story a little bit more. I can see where Ridley Scott was going. I was very eager to check out the second chapter of this trilogy that he had planned. Like Prometheus, this has a very good build-up at the start of the movie, getting to know this crew, getting to know where this ship is headed and what the crew's intentions are, wondering what this distress sort of signal that they've heard from this planet nearby is going to be and who sent it, and also wondering what happened to Dr. Elizabeth Shaw and David from the previous movie. And the movie kind of dangles the carrot there, so you get invested and want to know what happened to them two characters, and it kind of promises to get you to the answers, but you just kind of have to wait a little while. I mean, I was really invested in Dr. Elizabeth Shaw from Prometheus, so I definitely wanted the answers, but you just know when the crew are going to this planet where this distress call is coming from, that shit's about to go down. I gotta say, this is way more alien focused than Prometheus, and I think that's a good thing to do with the second chapter, because you don't want to stray too far from the franchise, and it just shows that even in the early species life cycle, they're a little bit different to the xenomorphs. They are still ruthless killer machines, and it's all showcased here. The action definitely gets going a little bit quicker than Prometheus did, where it was all saved in the third act there. We're kind of at the midway point where things start to kick into gear. It's a little bit more fast-paced than that movie. The gore is also ramped up here. One moment involving a shower scene really made me wince. I thought that was a really gnarly kill there. There's also these moments with spores that infect some of the characters, and you really do feel uneasy watching them because they are rapidly just getting worse as the seconds tick by, and it is a little bit uncomfortable to see them in such discomfort. But also, we do have aliens bursting through chest and even through spines in this movie. Yes, lots of body brutality. But the real villain of Alien Covenant is David from the previous film. He has started to develop a mind of his own, and he's become a little bit of a dangerous android now. He has been up to some nasty shit over the last 11 years. And when it's all revealed, you're like, yeah man, he's gone from machine to monster. But this is where the topic of creation comes up here, I feel. So in the first movie, the engineers basically made the humans, and here David has gone to the engineers' planet and wiped them all out and started his own species with the xenomorphs. And you can tell that David definitely wants to be a god. He wants to be a ruler of this species, a species of his own. And it makes for an interesting storyline. Michael Fassbender is easily the standout of this movie. He plays two characters here, David and another android called Walter. And it was fun to see him sort of act alongside himself for even a short period of time. But these two characters sharing common ground and dialogue was fun and interesting, I think. You do the blowing, I'll do the fingering. But I wish we seen a bit more of Michael Fassbender these days. He's kind of gone off the radar a little bit, but he's a phenomenal actor, and this and Prometheus definitely showcased that. I really like seeing the evolution of the xenomorphs here. So early on, we have these sort of white-looking creatures called the neomorphs. They're not full xenomorphs yet, but then David has some other eggs ready and stuff, and what comes out there is a pratomorph. This is all according to Aliens Wiki, so I think I'm correct there in what they are called, but the pratomorph seems really dangerous in this movie. But it was just fun to see how the different hosts and how people get infected, whether it be by spores or the facehugger, will produce a different kind of this species, really. And the movie, once again, is a visual treat, just like Prometheus. I mean, everything here looked gorgeous on screen, especially when the characters are on the ship this time, more than the planet itself. It just has wonderful set design, and we already know that Ridley Scott can do that with his first film way back in 1979 in Alien, but things haven't changed. He is just wonderful at making things look amazing on screen. But here, when we go to the planet as well, it is still amazing to look at, but it's a little bit more darker than Prometheus. Prometheus kind of lights up a little bit. Here, it goes for a much darker tone on this planet, but it definitely works. However, I will say the CGI on these aliens did not look good, and that is very unfortunate because with all these gorgeous backdrops and wonderful set designs and stuff, they stand out like a sore thumb, really. And even though they were deadly little creatures and they were wiping people out, which was fun to see, I couldn't help at the back of my mind thinking, this is just a digital image running around. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about these little spores infecting people. Like I said, it was fun to see the different species, of the aliens come out. But I'm not quite sure how I feel about these spores just infecting people and creating xenomorphs out of them. Now, like I said, it was fun to see the different types of xenomorphs there. But this way of infecting people and an alien coming out just felt a little bit lazy to me. I mean, it was like any means necessary to get these aliens going, and basically they're just stepping on some part of the ground and little dust clouds will appear and just go down there. Yeah, it just felt really off that an alien could be created from that, and the movie does attempt to explain it, but even after the explanation I still didn't feel right about it. And the characters here are just very stale as well. There's not really anyone to get behind, if anyone at all. Catherine Waterston, Billy Crudup, and even Danny McBride just bring nothing to this movie at all. I didn't really care what happened to these characters. There was no really good protagonists or anything. I mean, Michael Fassbender is easily the greatest actor / character in this movie in both David and Walter, and at times he actually carried the movie. There's a huge twist in the film as well, and I remember back in the cinema watching this that I knew that was going to happen. And it's even more obvious this time around when you see how Ridley Scott sort of frames it. I mean, he basically tells you what's going to happen when David kills Walter and poses as Walter and gets on the ship. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And I don't really see things like that coming, but it just stood out like a sore thumb. And the problem with it is, it uses it for the movie's climax. Like, it's this big cliffhanger. I was like, yeah, really? You kind of told us 30 minutes ago that was going to be the case. But honestly, my biggest problem with this, and it's not entirely the movie's fault, is that it just feels like a very middle chapter of a trilogy. Now, Ridley Scott intended to make this as a trilogy, but you can tell it's just very open-ended. There's more story to tell here, and you can't just go into this movie and enjoy it. Now, the best trilogies out there have middle chapters where you can just go in and watch it and take it for what it is. You don't have to watch either bookend of it. The Two Towers, for example, The Empire Strikes Back, but you're never going to be able to do that with Covenant. One, because there isn't even in a third part yet. But two, it just feels like you have to go and see Prometheus to understand anything what's going on in this movie, and that is definitely the case here. But I just don't know what Ridley Scott was fully going for here, and maybe all the answers are in that third part, which I really do want, by the way, and maybe it will make this movie grow on me a lot more. I hope we get it, but for now, it just feels like a very lost movie in the franchise, put it that way. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now, guys. I'm going to give Alien Covenant a 6 out of 10. That might seem a little bit low there, guys. It did improve me on rewatch, but it's no Prometheus. And like I said, there's just a little bit of a few middle chapter syndrome problems there, plus a handful of other things. So I didn't quite fully enjoy this movie, but it was fine. That's all I can say. It's a decent film. Okay, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. Please give me your thoughts on Alien Covenant down below. And don't forget to check out my other Alien movie reviews, which will be in the playlist down below as well. Thanks so much, guys. If horror is your sort of thing, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. It would really help me out. You all take care, and I'll see you on the next video.